Okay, so we're back. We have our knitted stitch, or we have our stitches on. We're going to take our yarn, hold it the same way we did before. We are going to do pretty much the exact same motions at the beginning. So we're going to take our yarn left to right in the stitch, wrap it around, pull it through, and instead of going over the end like we did when we were casting on, we're going to just slide that off. That is our first knit stitch. So you've gone from your left needle to your right needle. So we're going to stick the needle in from left to right, wrap the yarn around, pull it through, and then slide it off. Same as a cast on. That's why I wanted you to do the knitted cast on. That way it's much easier for you to learn this. As you can tell, we're starting to get some V shapes, and those are what signify the knit stitch. Again, you want to be loose with your yarn. You don't want to have a death grip on this. You want to be very open and easy. You don't want to have you don't want your pinky grabbing onto this. You want it nice and loose, but you do need to have some kind of guidance on the yarn, or then it gets too loose. Left to right, wrap it around, pull it through, and slide it off. So there's a saying, stab it, strangle it, scoop out its guts, and slide it off. Push it off a cliff, slide it off a cliff. So, okay, so you stab it, strangle it, scoop its guts out, and push it off a cliff. I mean, it's kind of graphic, but you get the picture of what it is. So we're just going to go back. We're going to go back through all these stitches we just put on, and we're going to do basically the same thing we did with cast on, except slide it off. And this is the knit stitch using the English method, which means the yarn is held in your right hand. So we're going to go all the way through here. And I would get used to holding the yarn with your left hand, your stitches, because if you don't, you could just pull things off very easily, and then they're hard to pick up, especially when you first have this first row cast on. It's hard to pick them up. Once we're into the body of the fabric, it's easier to pick them up. But at the beginning, it can be tough. So make sure you're holding your stitches so you don't inadvertently pull two off instead of one. Okay, our first row is done. If you can see, you can't really see yet, but there are little V's all the way across. It's smooth. The back side, however, has bumps. And that's how you know that's the back side of a knit stitch, or all these bumps. Now what I want you to do is flip your yarn over again, and you're going to keep your stitches in your left hand that you just did. You're going to grab your yarn again, and we're going to go back the next row, and we're going to knit all of these. Left to right, wrap it around, slide it off. I'm just going to go all the way through this row, and then I'll meet you at the end. Now periodically, I'm going to push these stitches back when they get kind of bunched up. And on the other side, I'm going to be pushing the stitches towards the needle. There we have our second row done. So when you look at this, you're going to see the bumps from the first row we did, and then if you pull it down a little bit, you can see the smoother stitch of the knit stitch that we just did. And on this side, you can see the knit stitch, and then the back side of the knit stitch we just completed. So there you are knitting. And this week, I want you to just knit back and forth, back and forth. Start over as many times as you want. But I want you to knit so you have probably, let's go 6 inches. I want you to knit where you have 6 inches of this fabric. And there's a reason I want you to do this. We have a project. We're starting a project here. So once you get confident, and you can rip these out very easily. If you don't like the way it looks, start over again. Do not get caught up in being perfectionist though. This is learning. So you can just rip everything out and start again. But I want you to do 6 inches. So you do 24 stitches, and I want you to knit 6 inches worth of this back and forth knitting.